Good morning and welcome to the Kissimmee Osceola Chamber's 15-minute series. My name is Adrianna Sekula and I'm the chair of the Kissimmee Osceola Chamber Board of Directors. Today we are lucky enough to hear from four of our wonderful chamber members, the Kissimmee Utility Authority, the Toho Water Authority, Duke Energy, and ouc, the reliable one. They'll be talking to us about business assistance programs, the latest on solar technologies, and also hurricane preparedness. We look forward to hearing from all of you today, and I'm going to start it off with Kissimmee Utility Authority for an introduction.
My name is Susan Postans, and I am the Vice President of Customer Service at KUA.
And we have Joe at Duke Energy. Joe.
My name is Joe Florian. I'm a Customer Care Supervisor with Duke Energy. I support a team of individuals that take the phone calls that you, our customers, make.
Excellent. And Terry with ouc, the reliable one.
I'm Terry Torrens. I'm the Senior Legislative Representative for Orlando Utilities.
And we also have Mary with the Toho Water Authority.
Hello, everyone. I'm the Public Information Officer with Toho Water Authority. So I deal a lot with customer service and also our media outlets.
Okay, wonderful. Well, Susan, we'll start with you if you don't mind. Can you tell us a little bit about what KUA is doing right now in terms of utilities in Osceola County and Kissimmee?
Sure. And I think what you'll hear, the main topic right now is COVID and the pandemic and how it's impacted our customers. And each of the utilities serve a different number of customers. We all seem to have approached the pandemic in a very similar manner. Interruptions for non-payment and fees, they were suspended in March. Resumption times differ on when people are going back to their normal collection procedures. We all offered some type of a payment plan for our customers to help them through this, and those were individualized payment plans with the customers. The electric utilities did provide some rate relief to their customers throughout the pandemic, and all of the utilities donated to funds that were available to assist their customers with payments. So most of us have all that information on our website, including customer assistance and payment plan information. And the main message to all of our customers is talk to us. You know, let us know what's going on and we will get through this together.
Thank you so much, Susan. Joe, how about Duke Energy? Can you talk a little bit to us about what you all are doing to help businesses and residents in Osceola County?
Absolutely. Well, like probably most other utilities, we've also discontinued service interruptions for a while. We're actually not starting back up until start of September. Late notices begin last week of August, and again, based on your billing cycle, that earliest interruption could be as soon as 1st of September. Outside of that, though, as far as helping is concerned, we've also had a program, and to be perfectly honest, a lot of what we're offering to customers are things that have existed ever since before the pandemic. It's just that now, of course, we've increased that flexibility by a large amount. One of the items being something called a deferred payment arrangement, where a customer can take a past due balance and split it into anywhere between 3 and 6 installments, thus enabling customers a little bit extra flexibility with being able to get their payments in. And late payment fees are things that we've not been charging anybody since the pandemic. Returned item fees are another item on that list. Making payments for residential customers specifically through our one-time payment service that you could use over the phone or on the website, those fees have been waived as well. Those are some of the main ideas that we've been doing. Outside of that, again, extra flexibility if a customer just simply needs extra time, a simple credit extension on a bill. Those we're being as helpful as we can be. Duke Energy Foundation as a whole, specifically the Florida portion of it, has put together over $1 million to help with the help agencies to provide that extra economic help that a customer may need in calling, for example, 211 to be able to tap a help agency to help with paying some past due balance. So those are some of the main items that we've worked on.
Great. Thank you so much, Joe. Terry, how about you over with ouc? Can you tell us a little about what you're doing to help customers and businesses?
Sure, thanks. Thanks for having us. Much like the other utilities, OUC is doing very similar activities. One of the things, like Joe mentioned at Duke, we've had a program that's gone on at OUC for years called Project Care. It's managed through United Way. If there are people that need assistance with paying their residential power bills, they can contact United Way by dialing 211 and get assistance there. I think we added an additional $2.5 million to that fund this year to help out with that. We also established a small business fund for small businesses that were needing assistance in paying their bills. And customers were eligible for up to $2,500 in utility assistance if they're infected or impacted by COVID. Again, like the other utilities, all of this information is available at ouc.com, and certainly pick up the phone and give us a call. Just like Susan at KUA said, the biggest thing that we want to see is just an effort. Call us, we'll help you. We'll help you figure out a plan. And as far as disconnections go, one of the things that our board agreed to, which we all thought was really helpful at this difficult time, is if the customer has made application to get support through one of these organizations, even if that money hasn't come through, we've offered to not disconnect them at this time. So there's a lot of opportunity for people if they just reach out. And I think that's the key message across the board that we're all trying to get out, is just make the phone call.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Terry. And Mary with Toho Water Authority?
Yes, we also have the Toho Assistance Program called TAP that we've had since 2017 to help those facing a financial crisis or burden. And this year, during the pandemic, our board did increase those funds for the program. And that's something that we definitely want to encourage anyone who is facing the possibility of not being able to pay their water bill or feel like they're struggling to reach out to us. We also have programs, if the TAP program doesn't work for them and they would like to maybe just have an extension on their bill, we have bill extension programs going on. We are all in this together, and we do want to help our customers as much as possible. And like the other utilities have echoed, we just need you to reach out to us, and we're also doing our best effort to reach out to our customers as well to let them know this is what we have going on.
Thank you so much. And the effort you all are doing in the community is just paramount, especially during this time. All of you made a mention on reaching out to your companies or your websites, and we are going to have all those websites in the comments. So if you're listening now and want to contact one of our utility companies, their websites are in the comments. We're going to go ahead and move on to some solar power efforts that are underway. Terry, can you talk about those?
Absolutely. OUC, along with the other electric utilities on this panel, are really investing heavily in solar panels and community solar throughout the state. As we all know, we're all shifting to a carbon-free future, and we've all declared we've got some goals in our future that we're working towards. And part of that is renewable energy. And so we're all investing very heavily. We just brought a whole bunch of new solar on board, and the more solar that comes on board, the more the rate for getting a solar connection for your home becomes cheaper. And so just like as it becomes more available. So eventually there's going to come a time where there's going to be no rate differential between someone who wants to have a solar powered home versus a regular powered home. And so I think that there's quite a bit that's out there. And I think that all the electric utilities are doing something very similar. And again, all of our solar information is available at ouc.com, and certainly most of your questions can be answered there.
Thank you, Terry. Joe, anything at Duke Energy relating to solar?
Absolutely. Currently, maybe the biggest option that we have available for residential, small and medium businesses is net metering interconnection. And the option there is if you have your own solar panels installed, then of course any solar power that you generate could be fed back to Duke Energy, and that of course in turn can help lower your bills. And so that's the biggest item that we have going on right now for, again, residential and the small and medium businesses. Also, Duke Energy Florida proposed to the Florida Public Service Commission a new program to provide solar access to customers while lowering bills over time. So that's a huge investment. If that goes through, then the plan is to invest an estimated $1 billion in new solar power plants across Florida over the next 3 years.
Very impressive, Joe. Anything from you, Susan, relating to solar?
No, really just to expand a little bit on the community solar, which they were referring to. So we have built these large solar power plants, generation plants, and the cost to produce solar energy does go down significantly when you do it that way, as opposed to one by one on top of a home. And so we are really excited to add that to our offerings, and we also have information about that and how that would impact your bill. It does cost a slight amount more. However, you don't have to pay for the equipment and you don't have to maintain it. And that rate is locked in for the life of the solar farm, which is about 20 years.
Very impressive. Thank you for sharing that with us. Mary, can you talk a little bit about, I know there's a lot of talk about disinfecting everything in our homes right now in terms of coronavirus and making sure that we're safe, but you're having a little bit of problems in terms of pipes clogging. Can you talk to our members and those tuning in about that?
Absolutely. So this is not just a local utility problem. This is a nationwide issue. A lot of people have been using extra hand sanitizing wipes or using just the flushable wipes in general. And even though they're marketed as flushable, they do not biodegrade in the system like toilet paper does. So what will happen is you may end up with a sewer backup at your own home, or it makes it down through our wastewater system and will clog our infrastructure and our pipes, possibly causing a lift station overflow. So right now we are really encouraging our customers with a campaign called Wipes Clog Pipes, and letting people know to please dispose of any wipes in the trash or anything other than toilet paper in the trash.
And that's important to know. Like you said, it's marketed very often in a different way. So I think as long as we keep spreading that message, and thank you for being on the call and sharing that with our membership who's tuning in or watching this at a later date. With hurricane season, not even upon us, but us being in hurricane season, you all play a vital role in what happens to our community in terms of a natural disaster. Joe, can I talk to you a little bit about your preparedness plans for hurricane season and how you can help residents and businesses?
Absolutely. And if we're talking about storms, named storms, our approach in recent years has actually been a much better one than, well, previous times. And what it turns into is basically we're tapping our other regions and just other utilities all together to help with the restoration efforts. So when it comes to restoration, we've done a whole lot better in that sense by having more people at the ready to help us in the field with restoration. Now, as far as preventing outages to begin with, then we've got plenty of programs that revolve around strengthening our grid to try to make it so that there are no power outages or less, which in a perfect world we'd have none, right? But at the very least, with the things that we're implementing, it helps us to avoid more outages than there have been in the past.
Great, thank you so much. And Duke Energy does excellent work. Susan?
Yes, so like all of the other utilities, we have very intense plans for storm season, for hurricanes. We even had plans for pandemics. But they've kind of merged a little bit this year. As we've made our plans for the hurricanes, we've had to review things that we need to change a little bit. Our crews all report to different locations so that there's not any chance that if one crew gets ill that they share COVID with the other crews. We have different plans for distributing food to the crews. We have different plans in case we do bring in mutual aid, which was kind of what Joe was talking about, was bringing in crews from other areas to assist. You have to have plans on how to keep them safe as well, and where are they going to stay and how are you going to feed them. And we're fortunate because our call center has been virtual for over 15 years. So we have had people working from home for a very long time, and that works out beautifully during storm restoration, because if one area is without power or service, we certainly will probably have people living in other areas that can answer phone calls right away. We can ramp up very easily and we can ramp down very easily. So KUA as a whole, we're ready. And like Joe said, we all the utilities, I believe, always make a concerted effort to strengthen the infrastructure to try to avoid outages to begin with.
Thank you so much, Susan. Thank you for the work that KUA does in our community. Terry, can you tell us a little about OUC, the reliable one, and hurricane preparedness?
Sure, I'd love to. It's interesting because, like Susan said, we really hadn't, I mean, we had a pandemic plan, we had a hurricane plan. We really never thought about a hurricane during a pandemic. And March or April of this year, when we all started seeing what was happening with COVID, our CEO, Clint Bullock, mentioned, we need to really start thinking about how does this impact sending and receiving crews from this mutual aid program that both Joe and Susan talked about. And what if people don't want to send their crews? And so we really worked on a national level with a lot of the sending utilities, and we worked on a Tiger team to put together a plan of what mutual aid looks like during a pandemic. And so our CEO was very involved, and he had people that were tasked on those task forces. And it was really eye-opening. And Susan was talking about, how do you house them? How do you feed them? These people, when they come, are communally fed. So we have big buffet lines. When they have breakfast, they get 2 meals. They eat out when they're out. But, so now we're talking about boxed meals, things like that, to prevent the spread of COVID, and how to keep everybody safe during that time. I think all the utilities probably did what we did, which was we've had our tree crews running nonstop, making sure that we're ahead of the game when it comes to potential conflicts with trees and power lines. But even these afternoon storms we've been having have been pretty dramatic. And so even though we haven't seen a hurricane yet, we've had some pretty good lightning and thunder that's going on, and quite a few trees that have come down in neighborhoods. Fortunately, haven't caused anything major, but we're definitely ready. And we certainly are more ready given the COVID-19 thought process, because we just had to plan for something we'd not had to plan for before. But OUC, Duke, KUA, we've done this a really long time, and we're really good at what we do. So we feel pretty confident that if a storm comes, that people will come, and we'll be able to keep them safe, and we'll be able to keep the lights on.
Thank you so much, Terry. Mary, do you have any advice for us from the Toho Water Authority when it comes to hurricane preparedness?
So thank you so much for asking about that. Our logistics have changed slightly as well due to the pandemic. However, our big message that we want to share with our customers is to remind them that you do not need to go out to the store during hurricane season. You can actually store and save your tap water that you have at home. Your tap water is safe to drink unless you were to get a boiled water notice during an actual hurricane. So again, we know that you have a lot on your list as you prepare for hurricane season and as we go through hurricane season and even during this pandemic. So one of those items we want to take off your list is just make sure that you use your tap water.
And thank you all for joining us today and sharing this information. I think the overall message is reiterating the business assistance that you all have for disconnections during this time when our community is really suffering with unemployment rates or with keeping the doors open at businesses. And if you all reach out to your utility company, again, their websites are in the comments. You can contact them. They can help you with those business assistance programs. So thank you all for all you do during hurricanes. You truly are the unsung heroes of saving communities and making everything better. So thank you, and thank you for being chamber members and for taking care of both our members and all residents in Osceola County. Thanks again for joining us, and have a great day.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you.